Well, in response to the Bondi terror attack, New South Wales Premier Chris Minns has implemented sweeping changes to gun laws. It's prompted concerns from farmers and legitimate shooters who feel unfairly targeted. Joining me live is New South Wales Shooters, Fishers and Farmers MLC Mark Banasiak. Thank you for your time today, Mark. Let's start by getting your reaction.
Yeah, look, I'm pretty disappointed and frustrated on behalf of 260,000 law-abiding firearm owners of this state that have been made a scapegoat by this Premier and by his government for his own government agency failings and federal agency failings.
Well, a lot of talk has been about the method that was used to take out these alleged killings rather than the motive behind it. Some people are very angry about that, understandably you too. Talk us through your reaction or your response to the government's reaction to the terror attack at a state and federal level.
It's been very reactionary, very knee-jerk, poorly thought out. You even had the coalition government yesterday. Every one of their speeches stood up and said the exact same thing, that it was poorly thought out, poorly drafted, poor response, ineffective, didn't hit the mark, and then they proceeded to support the government and vote the legislation through. So their handling of it has been shambolic. They're covering up for their own agency's failings. There is no reason this terrorist should have got a licence, and the licence application should not have taken 3 years. We deal with the firearms registry on a day-to-day basis, doing individual advocacy. And in my 6 years of working in Parliament, I have not had one licence application take 3 years. So something shonky has gone on there in the New South Wales Firearms Registry with this person's licence application.
Well, there are obviously clear failings that will come to light. I mean, the New South Wales Premier today says, Mark, that this is a way to do everything that his government can to keep everyone safe. He says he understands that everyone's not going to like it, but that this is what needs to happen. The PM then is also saying today that at a national level, there will be consideration for farmers and those who need guns for legitimate purposes, that he'll work with everyone. Now, many argue these reforms won't stop firearms ending up in the wrong hands. What do you say to people, though, who say there isn't enough scrutiny on gun storage, licensing checks and those ongoing monitoring systems too?
I would say the existing laws could have stopped this terrible, abhorrent act of terrorism. The registry has once again failed. It failed in John Edwards and no one was held responsible. It's failed again, tragically. The existing laws could have stopped this person getting access to firearms. There are already provisions where licences can be revoked, suspended. There's storage inspections. There's constant checks already that could have picked up that this person wasn't a fit and proper person to hold a licence. So I don't buy the argument from anyone that these laws were necessary, because I know the existing laws could have solved this issue.
Mark, what conversations are you having with community members after these announcements and these sweeping changes are coming into effect?
Yeah, look, obviously our firearms community is quite devastated. We have a strong contingent of manufacturers who not only manufacture for the civilian market but also manufacture for our defence, and they're concerned. They've invested millions in their businesses, and they're set to lose all that money, sack workers over Christmas or just after Christmas. It's devastating. If you look at regional communities, farmers, they're besides themselves in terms of how they're going to manage the overwhelming pest problem we're facing across this state. And the Minns government has essentially just thrown another hurdle in farmers' faces in terms of being able to handle that pest management problem by not only taking away their firearms, but also taking away recreational hunters' firearms who provide key assistance in managing pests on farmers' properties.
And as you've said, Mark, I mean, most people would understand here that there's been some kind of clear failing that will come to light here about why someone with these extremist ideologies had 6 long-arm firearms, and there's also obviously clear failings with the licensing checks and all of that, which will come to light, of course. But many argue that it's not how the killing happened, but why. What stood out to me in today's press conference from the Prime Minister is there was talk about gun reform, there was talk about condolences for the victims' loved ones, all of that. But there was no mention today about any extremist ideology.
Yeah, look, that's extremely disappointing. And that's been the most disappointing thing for me personally and for my constituents over these last 7 days. And the thing I keep saying to people is if you have hate in your heart, it doesn't matter what tool or what implement the government tries to take away from you, you will find a way to express that hatred. And I guess the question needs to be put to the Premier and to the Prime Minister is what are you going to say to the community next when they come with a truck or when they come with a pressure cooker full of nails or pipe bombs? Because if you don't deal with the hate, you don't deal with the extremist elements that are within our society now, that is what you'll be facing. That is what the community will be facing. It's what they're facing right now because the laws that were passed last night or early this morning do nothing to address the extremist hate that caused this terrible terrorist attack at Bondi last weekend.
Okay, Mark, we'll leave it there for today. Thank you for joining us. I wish I was speaking with you under better circumstances, but really appreciate your time today. Of course, it's Christmas. It's been a pretty heavy time, but wishing you and your family all the very best.
Thank you, Holly. Merry Christmas to all your listeners.